to have all these people effectively do all the research of finding out what games they need to put on there. Because, I mean, I'm over here watching other people's lists and then also researching on my own on the website to see what games really intrigue me. Just side note, it's difficult, guys.
There's so many games.
There's so many games.
So, like, there could be an amazing game coming out that I just don't know about it.
Hey, I'm Devin.
And I'm Mary Kate.
And we're picking up pieces.
A channel all about board game pieces.
And how to pick them up. And in today's video, we're going to be giving you our top 10 most anticipated games for Gen Con. Me and Mary Kate are both planning on being Gen Con next week. I'm actually going to be working the booth for Board and Dice, where I'm going to be demoing games such as Books of Time in Barcelona. Just FYI, one of those games are probably going to be on this list, and it's been on pretty much everyone's list I've seen so far. So I'm going to be teaching probably a ton of games. So yeah, come by the booth and say hey to me, and we can talk about some games, and hopefully maybe even get a game in or two. But in saying that, let's go ahead and actually just jump right into the list. All so right. At number 10, actually, our first two games, number 10 and number 9, are games that we own, but we think are actually prevalent to you guys if you're attending the game. So number 10 is going to be Distilled. Distilled, we got at Origins. It was a really hot game. Everyone was talking about it, and it is actually a pretty good game. I'm higher on it than Mary Kate is. Mary Kate still likes it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but pretty much what the game is you're just distilling alcohol. And so you're distilling a whole bunch of different spirits, and you have your own little player board where you have upgrades, where you could be upgrading the items or even your own factory while you're trying to get ingredients and distilling these spirits. And so the game has a whole lot of like ramping up where you're going to get a lot of sell at one time and then maybe not as much the next turn, because you can actually age some of your alcohol. So every single turn you're not necessarily going to be able to sell your alcohol. You can only, unless you are just making one that doesn't need to be aged. And so that leads up again to kind of like I guess this is how the game flow is, but it does have a huge, what I think, a payoff at the end where you might have a whole bunch of alcohol in your warehouse where you're aging it. And so you can sell at max 2. So there's a possibility that you can sell 3 alcohol in one turn, which would be the most alcohol you can sell on any turn. And so more likely that's going to be a huge payoff at the end of the game. And I really enjoy that whole arc and that whole, I'm trying to think, the way you have to think about it, the puzzle that the game gives you, and how thematic the game is. Due to how thematic it is, though, this is where Mary Kate, I think, might have some trip up with it, is if it's what's the word? It's tedious.
Well, it's not just that I think it's tedious and hard to follow. You have also had
mistakes. For sure.
We've had rule mistakes every time we've played it so far. We've not played it a time through without screwing up the rules.
Yes, because there's so many little rules to the game due to how thematic the game is and how it's interwoven with its mechanics. And so whenever I was saying that, I wasn't meaning just like you.
Yeah.
But just in general, like, I think it's more trip up for you than me, even though I actually struggle with it more. Because I definitely struggle with all those little tiny rules and remembering all of them. But I'm okay with struggling through them, where I think Mary Kate probably gets annoyed with me asking her constantly, oh, hey, what does this do? Oh, wait, I forgot this. Can I just renege doing this action real quick? And Mary Kate's always happened to be like, oh, yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, and then I lose in the end, regardless of how many rules that. Maybe you're just cheating. Maybe you're just cheating on this game. Maybe you're just pretending to screw the rules up so you win.
No, I definitely do screw up the rules. I don't think I've done that in that game. I've probably done that in other games. So that's Distilled at number 10.
Number 9, we have Thunder Road Vendetta. So we've talked a lot about this game. You can watch our review of this game on our channel. I think that came out last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, last week. So Thunder Road Vendetta is a really fun game. So just a quick overview if you've not checked out our review video. It is like a Mad Max theme, Mario Kart-esque racing game. So basically you and up to 4 people on the base. 4 people in the base game, 5 people if you have some of the expansions, are all racing across this kind of apocalyptic desert. and with your 3 cars, and you're constantly crashing into each other, trying to knock each other off the road. You're having slams where you're running into each other. You're like hitting hazards, ramps, fire. Oh my, but
okay.
But it's really fun. It leads to some really big moments of people zooming ahead and going off the board, and everyone left in the dust getting destroyed, or everyone kind of sending their battle helicopters after whoever's in the lead and their car getting completely destroyed, or people getting pushed into a cliff and them getting destroyed. Basically, there's a lot of moments where people get destroyed, which makes it pretty fun. So you should check it out.
And the game, I would say, Devin Origins, I would say, at least we're not official spokespeople for Origins, but I would say this is the game of Origins. This is the game I've seen most people bought and just have out in all the general play area. And so I think it had a lot of hype around it. And it has, I think, some Maximum Chrome copies were available, which is the Kickstarter exclusive that had all of the expansions available at Origins. I would imagine, again, not official spokesperson for Restoration, so ding for both of those, would have some Maximum Chrome at Gen Con. If you want that, it will sell out maybe day 1 or day 2. It sold out within the first couple hours at Origins. And so it's a little bit of a price difference. It's almost double their base price. But again, you get all of the expansions. The miniatures are washed already for you. Personally, me and Kate really enjoyed it. We're happy we bought the Maximum Chrome. Do not regret that at all. Just to let you know. So if you want that, definitely be on a lookout for that, and probably look out for it on the first day if you want the Maximum Chrome edition. Now, at number 8 is the game I'm going to be demoing, Barcelona, which is you building up the city of Barcelona. Thematically, I've been doing a lot of research on the game because I'm going to be teaching it, and so I've been trying to learn. I don't know how to teach it well yet. I will be there. I'll be teaching this. But thematically, it's bled throughout the whole game, which again, we love, because you're building up the city of Barcelona in the 19th century after the city walls have been crumbled. It's been completely removed. And so the architect, Serta, had a whole system of how they wanted to build up a city. If you haven't seen Barcelona, all the cities are in like square blocks.
Looks really cool.
It looks really cool. We'll have a picture pop up, boom, so you can see what it looks like. And so the whole game is you trying to build out the city in the vision of Serta, who was the original designer of the city. And so in order to do that, he had the people in mind first. Not so much about making money or anything like that. He wanted trees, a lot of areas for the people to walk and be able to interact in a healthy manner, because they have not been experiencing that in Barcelona prior to that point. But since that's happened, over the years, a bunch of industries have boomed up and have taken over Barcelona, and has caused it to be too much highly populated, not enough room for people. It's caused a lot of health issues. And so kind of in this game, you're kind of managing that as well as you are trying to build it in this guy's vision. But whenever you're building in his vision, if you don't follow it, you'll get less points throughout the game. And so you're kind of trying to manage building up Barcelona in a good way, and at the same time get the most points. So that's Barcelona, and I'm excited to teach that to you guys if you drop by.
All right, so number 7, I have Race to the Raft. So y'all know we love Isle of Cats. Mm-hmm. Devin has gone on the record to say that it is currently his favorite polyomino.
Probably my favorite polyomino game, yeah.
Yes, so we love Isle of Cats. And so this is by the same designer in the same world of the Isle of Cats. And so basically you are working cooperatively with the other players in order to place down these cards that have like random assortments of different types of terrain in order to get the cats to the raft.
Yeah.
I've heard really good reviews of this game. It looks really cool. I kind of like that it's like a cooperative aspect, but it's not a campaign. Like a lot of cooperative games, I feel like, are like fighting games, dungeon crawlers, like, or just like different types of games. But this seems unique and I like it. So I'm looking forward to Race to the Raft.
Race to the Raft. Then to number 6, Cosmo Octopus. So this game artwork wise looks really cool, and also thematically wise it looks pretty cool. So pretty much we're all cult people trying to summon the Cosmoctopus, the great inky one. And so in order to do that, you kind of the Cosmoctopus is in the cosmos, and you're trying to do different things down here to interact with him.
Tentacles to arrive.
And so you're trying to pretty much get 8 tentacles in front of you, which has like a little inky galaxy thing. And whoever gets 8 tentacles first gets the octopus in front of them. And so in order to do that, I've heard it kind of compared to Splendid, where you don't have to play it like Splendid. It has more to it than just that. But the game kind of, you're able to get things that permanently give you resources to buy things.
Yeah.
And so not only that, you have to interact where the octopus is at in his little grid. And so every turn you get to move him in order to do an action. But you can only move him one space unless you spend a resource to move him in multiple spaces. And the space he lands on, you get to do that action, and then what else I think might be in front of you. Hopefully I explained that correctly. Obviously we haven't played it yet because it's an anticipated game. But Cosmoctopus, if that sounds appealing to you, give it a check out.
So number 5 is Sail. Actually, I think I talked about Sail like some way back whenever it was on Kickstarter.
Yeah, one of our Kickstarter previews.
But it's actually being released at Gen Con, and so it is a cooperative 2-player trick-taking game. So that is really thematic. You're sailing these ships. It's really cool. But something that's interesting is when I think of a cooperative trick-taking game, what do we all think of? The Crew.
Yeah.
It's the only co-op trick-taking game that I am aware of. So this idea of a 2-player cooperative trick-taking game really intrigues me. I like trick-taking. We play a lot of 2-player games, and generally I've really enjoyed games that All Plays put out, so I'm looking forward to Sail.
And it just like any other All Play game for the most part, it comes in a very easy to transport box. So it's not going to take up much shelf space, and not going to cost you probably an arm and a leg. So it'd be a nice little easy game to just put back in your bag whenever you're heading out of Gen Con. So that's Sail. Number 4, I'm really excited about. So I think from here on out, these are the games I'm like most excited about. Which number 4 is Queen by Midnight, which is made by the publishing arm of Critical Role, where this game just looks really overproduced, produced to the nines. Pretty much thematically, I think the queen is dead or something like that, has been what's the word I'm talking about? Dethroned, something like that. And so there's a whole, you're playing as a bunch of princesses who are trying to battle each other to get the title of Queen by Midnight. And so it's a battle royale game. I think the big ding on this game, it might only play like at the minimum 3 players. So I think you need to have at least 3 players to play this. So I know that might be a ding to some people, but again, that's just the game. That's not really a ding against mechanically. And so pretty much it's a deck building game where each person's their own, I think maybe asymmetric princess, and where you're fighting each other. And so you have, I think, 12 rounds in the game because it's a clock tower, in which the clock tower is in the center. Like it's a legit like tower, and where you have it, the tower keeps track of what round you on. It's also a dice tower where you can roll dice, and then also have like its little market in front of it. And so the game, I would think of it as something akin to Unmatch or to Dice Throne in that skirmish or battle sense, not necessarily how the game plays, because I do think the main mechanic of it is deck building, and neither one of those games have that. And so I'm really interested by this game. This might be the first game I just drop by to get, because I think it's the first time it's available. And so I don't know how many copies they have. I'm sure they're going to have a ton, but you never know how fast they're going to move through those copies.
Yeah, so, that game seems really cool. It looks beautiful. I like that we're like battling princesses trying to secure the throne. And it's fun. It's
kind of artwork is more like steampunky-ish. Not saying it's steampunk, but kind of that feel.
Adjacent to that.
So Queen by Midnight.
All right, so our third most anticipated game is Emerge. So Emerge is a new Pandasaurus game that's coming out. And how it's set up is there are these underwater volcanoes that are erupting that are emerging new islands on the ocean. And so there's this board, this kind of long blue board out in front of you where these islands are emerging. And so the different players are in control or of the different islands that are coming up out of the water. You also have your own player board in front of you, and so you're rolling dice to be able to get these different animal meeples that you can put on your islands.
Yeah.
And you're gaining different ability cards that interact with it in different ways, and as well as working towards some end round goals of what types of animals or types of habitats you want on your islands. This game looks really cool. I've heard good things about it. I really like the islands coming up from the water, and that we're helping to get we're populating all these islands with these little animal meeples. It's definitely up my alley, and I'm gonna try to check it out.
So Emerge. Number 2 is my most anticipated game for sure, which is City of the Great Machine. Whenever I said steampunk just like 2 minutes ago, this is steampunk. This whole thematically artwork is steampunk. So the game is a hidden movement game. And it adds, every hidden movement game, I think, adds just a little bit of a twist. And I'm hoping this fixes my main problem with a hidden movement game, which is whenever you are the person hiding or maybe the other side doing something, there's always a side in the game where you having to wait for the other people and you're just waiting forever while they
talk
and deduce where you're at. And so I think this game has the potential of fixing that. And I'm most excited for that because I love the hidden movement genre. After a while, I think all the hidden movement games get a little bit stale for me. And so I'm hoping this one fixes that. With this game, I think how it works out is that there's one person who is not hiding. Everyone else is hiding. And so thematically, how that is, this person is the AI or the great machine. And so it's kind of like AI versus humanity. And so, but it's in like a but like, I guess like a dystopian
like
past. Alternate history where this AI is trying to straight up interact with the city to change the city around to change what the people are doing. So the people, whenever they're hiding, they're going to talk with each other in front of the great machine. Probably going to be
AI, always listening.
Always listening. So they're going to be talking in front of you, but they have ways to communicate using cards so that they don't straight out say what they're trying to do. But the AI is trying to deduce what they're going to do. And so whenever the AI does that, whenever the other team picks out what they're going to do, the AI then gets to change the playing field. They can change the map, or they can decide what they're going to do based off of what the people are going to do. And so after they change, I think then the team, what they originally said they were going to do, they then do those actions. And so it's constantly really a deduction game of the AI trying to figure out what they're going to do and then what they think the AI are going to do in light of their actions. And so I'm really interested how that's going to work. I think it's going to be played best at 4. I know it could play from 2 up, I think, but I think this game you're going to want to have as many people as possible in order to have that communication, so me as the great machine, I can listen in. And so
Kevin's like, I will always be the great machine.
I mean, I like the title, The Great Machine. And so I'm really intrigued by this, and this is going to be definitely one of the first games I'm going to try to get. But I don't think this one will also be hard to get. Hopefully not. I don't know for sure. I'm really talking on my butt. So, City of the Great Machine, my most anticipated game for sure.
So my most anticipated game is actually has been released in Europe, but has not come to the States yet.
Yeah.
That would be Sea, Salt, and Paper. So I have played a lot of Sea, Salt, and Paper on BGA.
Yeah.
Sea, Salt, and Paper is my go-to BGA game right now. So basically it is a set collection game where on your turn you can either draw a card from 2 face-up discard piles, or you can draw 2 cards from the deck and you get to keep one and discard the other. And so there is a variety of different types of cards that you can then play for special effects or that just secretly collect points in your hand. And once you reach 7 points, you are able to then end the round. You have multiple rounds until you get to 40 points, I think. Now I'm forgetting. I think it's 40 points. But so once you get to 7 points, you can either immediately stop and but you and your opponent also gets their points. Or you can put out a last call where your opponent also gets to do one more turn. And then whoever loses, has the least amount of points, only gets to score their color bonus and not the rest of their points. But so you can choose to declare it as soon as you get to 7, or you can try to build up more points so that you think if you call stop, you're more, or you call last call, you're more likely to win. So I like set collection, and this game just has so many kind of different applications of that. I really enjoy it. It took me a while to actually get good at it, but I'm okay at it now, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so sea salt paper, and I think that's our top 10 list. I don't know how all these people effectively do all the research of finding out what games they need to put on there, because I mean, I'm over here watching other people's lists, and then also researching on my own on the website to see what games really intrigue me. Just side note, it's difficult, guys.
There's so many games.
There's so many games.
So, like, there could be an amazing game coming out that I just don't know about it.
Yeah. And so I'm sure we'll hear things as we're there. And I know the most anticipated game of all is Lorcana. Forget Lorcana. I have no interest. Trading card games? No, thank you. If you're a trading card game person, oh well. I'm not sorry.
Oh my god. You said that like we didn't used to try to play Pokemon.
I played some Pokemon. They a little bit of Pokemon. Alright, so anyway guys, that's our list. We value all of you, and if we had the chance, we would play board games with every single one of you. So until next time, bye.
Bye.